Good day everyone. So our lesson for today is all about social system model. So what is social system model? Social system model is the pattern network of relationship constituting a coherent whole that exists between individuals, group, and institution. It is the formal structure of rule and status that can be formed in small stable group. Some example of social system are nuclear family units, communities, cities, nation, college campuses, corporation, and industries. The importance of social system model is it has acquired importance because of its sociological changes and influences. The school is a formal agency of education, imparts the maximum knowledge of the subject required for necessary living of a useful and successful life. We also have the key assumption of social system models. The first one is the social system or open systems. Second, a social system consists of interdependent parts, characteristics, and activities that contribute to and receive from the whole. The third one is the social system are people. Fourth is social system are goal-oriented. And fifth is social system are structural. Sixth is social systems are normative. For seventh is social system are sanction bearing. Eight is social systems are political. 9 is social systems have distinctive cultures. 10 is social systems conceptual and relative. And the last one is all formal organizations are social systems. Okay, now let's move on to structural system. The structure of social systems inherits many elements from rational, natural, and open system theories. An example of this is school buildings. The next one is the cultural system. It is similar to the emergence of informal organizations. Culture emerge from interaction of individuals within a system, share a common values, beliefs, and thoughts, and share spirit of togetherness and respect. Example of this is religions. Also have the political system. School must pay attention to external pressures, respond to their demands, and produce outcomes. In other words, schools are compelled to be open system by political forces. And the last one is the individual system. Every individual interprets the rules according to their behaviors, such as teachers, learners, administrators, and students. They have needs, belief, and dependent on the level of cognition to have knowledge, understand tasks, and display the desired behavior. So that's how it ends our discussions for this lesson. So see you guys and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
At this juncture, I will be discussing to you the Lesson 2 of Module 2, which is the continuation of Lesson 1 that tackles about the social systems model. So I assume that you already know what are the basic assumptions and concepts of social system as well as the social system model. And now we will be tackling about the key elements of school as a social system. This module focuses only on 8 key elements, which are the structure, individual, culture, politics, technical core, environment, outcomes, and lastly, the feedback loops, internal and external. For us to better understand why is it that school is considered as a social system, let me show you the framework of Hoy and Miskel 2013, which was developed based on the open social system theory of Scott 2007 as a basis. This framework shows the key components of social system. And also this framework is the social system model for schools. So you can see that on the top of the framework is the environment, and the first factor is the inputs. The second one is the transformational process, which emphasizes the 5 internal subsystems, which are the technical, structural, individual, cultural, and political system. And the third factor is the outputs. So now let me discuss to you first what consists the three factors, and later on the discussion you will know why is it that environment is at the top of the framework, what and why is it that environment is the greatest or the biggest element of all the key elements I introduced to you a while ago. Input defined as what is put in, taken in, or operated on by any process or system. So basically, this refers to the factors that makes an organization keeps on operating. Consequently, according to Hoy and Miskel 2013, the inputs are the labors, students and money from the environment, and other associated aspects such as human, material, financial, or information resources. Transformational process is a set of inputs being transformed using effective methods of delivery of contents to provide output. It is the second factor which refers to the organization and content of the curriculum, health of the interpersonal climate, motivation levels of students and teachers, teacher and administrator, leadership, quality and quantity of instruction, coordination and vision, learning time, school and classroom, shared efficacy, and academic optimism. It's also according from Hoy and Miskel 2013. Outputs is the end product or the result of inputs and the process. From a social system viewpoint, the significant outputs as the third factor for the students are academic achievement, creativity, self-confidence, goals, anticipation, graduation, as well as the rates of dropout. On the part of the teachers, important outputs are job satisfaction, absence, and turnover. For the administrators, include job satisfaction, balanced budgets, and commitment to school. According to the social system model for schools, organizational performance is determined by the key internal elements. Structure is defined as the arrangement of and relations between the parts or element of something complex. So, in school, it often involves the arrangement of positions of members of the administration, licensed and unlicensed staff and teachers, and the students. And that positions defined by sets of expectations which is called as the bureaucratic roles. Structure define the structural system. In school organization, it refers to the positions of principal, teacher, and students which are essential, and the positions are defined based on established anticipations. So members have their own desires, opinions, and intellectual visions towards their works. Second key internal elements is the individual, a key unit in any social system. Basically, us, people who function for the organization continuously operates. Individual determine the individual system irrespective Irrespective of formal positions, it is presumed that a significant way to understand about administrators, teachers, students, and persons in the school as a social system is to examine their desires, views, objectives, as well as inspirations, according from Hoy and Miskel 2013. The third key internal elements is the culture. It refers to the beliefs, perceptions, relationships, attitudes, and unwritten and written rules. This influences individuals to act orderly in an organization. Culture determines the cultural system. In school, shared values, norms, beliefs, and way of thinking among teachers are shared orientations from the culture of the school and significantly have an influence on their conducts. The fourth key internal elements is the politics. Politics dimensions spawns the informal power relations that emerge often to resist other system of legitimate control. Politics determine the political system is a system of informal authority relationships that seem to resist other systems of control. Individuals that operate within the confines of the structure, culture, and individual systems usually contribute to the needs of the organization. According from Hoy and Miskel, 2013, schools are compelled to be open system by political forces. The fifth key internal elements is the technical core, the teaching and learning process. So this is the backbone of all educational organization. So obviously this is the main point a of a school organ of a school organization. So it is where the real output of the organization is produced. Technical core determined the technical system or the technical process as an important element of transformational process in open social system comprises all of the school activities that will lead to producing the real products of school and provides a vibrant picture of the school with a feedback mechanism. The sixth key internal elements is the environment. It refers everything outside the organization. It is the main source of it is the system's source of energy. That's why in the framework of Hoy and Miscal, the environment is at the top because school is not isolated from the surrounding environment, from its surrounding environment. This is due to the fact that school interrelates consistently with the surrounding or environment as described in system theory, according to Katz and Kahn, 1978. The seven key internal elements is the outcomes, the products of the products of the organization. School effectiveness is positively related to the task of internal elements of social system, according to Tartar and Hoy 2004. Outcomes refers to the third factor of the social system model for school, which is the outputs. And the last key internal elements is the feedback loops, internal and external. This ensures that a portion of the school's behavior and the internal and external environment's reactions to that behavior are filtered back into the system as input. It is a process of checking for an affirming understanding that is specific, non-evaluative, manageable, and focused on a learning target. According to Scott 2007, schools are open system. By this, school really considered as a social system because based from the basic assumptions of social systems model, which is the first one, social systems are open systems. Social systems have basic features which are interaction of multiplicity of individuals, regular interaction within school communities, and individuals with different roles and interact with each other with a view to attain the school goes, according to Katz and Gunn 1978. Subsequently, school characterizes all of it. So that's why school is considered as a social system. Good day, everyone. My topic for today is all about the school as a community. So, to better understand the topic, there are five key concepts that I prepared. So, first is the community. The principle on which the community provision is built are based on certain assumptions that relate to exclusive practice. Education is part of social provision, strongly relate all other branches of social provision. Education does not exist just as an academic entity. Social provision is determined by the prevailing social and economic framework of society throughout civilized history. The level of social provision has sustained societies in an unequal manner, balancing those who have and those who have not. Both social and educational provision have become more centrally controlled. There has been a move towards the evolution of power at an operational level, reflecting the need to provide community-type activities led by the community. There is a greater emphasis on participation that has contributed to the emancipation of the teacher. Within the context of community, it is necessary to consider how education contributes to the lifelong experience of its members, including those with special educational needs. The home, local area, and neighborhood all contributes to the educational experience of each pupil. As a consequence, there are varying degrees of good and bad influences on members of the school community. Next is school culture. Generally refers to the beliefs, perceptions, relationships, attitudes, and the written and unwritten rules that shape and influence every aspect of school functions. The school culture of each school is determined by individual and collective beliefs and values. Pupils, parents, teachers, and other support agencies all contributes to their school culture. The vision for the school is contained in the school developmental plan and policy statement that provides the rationale of practice. The school culture will manifest itself in many forms. First is practice. Second is communications. Third is physical forms. And lastly, common language. Third key concept is ethos. Hargreaves, 1984, stated that difference between schools may be explained in terms of organizational and social structure, which also reflects in the interpersonal relationship that creates the ethos, the shared beliefs, and the values. The whole school feeling exists to such an extent that it drives the school as a community towards achieving goals. An intangible relationship between community and ethos exists, but the link is difficult to define. Ethos is multidimensional, as no single definition would apply to the many situations that occur in the life of the school community. Managers and practitioners create school ethos through values and behaviors that reflects values portrayed in policies and practice. Analysis of school management and community is often directed at the individual teacher, whose skill is managing young people are so consequential to the life of the classroom. The general ethos, climate, or philosophy of a school has its own powerful consequences. The teacher and the pupil are interdependent. What is unclear is precisely how this interaction works. The fourth key concept would be school and community. Community is part of society, and education is counterpart of both. School-community relations, shared decision-making, gives schools the opportunity to improve a positive interaction between schools and their diverse communities. The relationship between school and community are very important, where community plays a big role in the educational system and influence children's development and connection to the school. So there are three possible patterns of connection between the schools and the community as described in the educational literature.
First is the closed door pattern. The school deals with all the child's educational and social problems, and community involvement and intervention is minimal. With a closed system like the laws of nature, the energy of the system will deteriorate. Therefore, according to Friedman 1986, the closed door policy towards the community needs feedback. In Friedman's view, a closed door policy will waste energy without the right guidance. In the absence of constant input from the parents and the community, the school will be unaware of changes occurring in these systems, and hence will be unable to adapt itself and its curricula to these changes and will keep degenerating. Second is the open door pattern. The school and the parents operate as open systems so that information flows freely in both directions. The school with an open door policy makes the parents partners to their child's educational process and strives to become an influential factor in the life of the community. A basic assumption of system theory is that the open system is designed to process the input of its external environment, only to return the proceeds product to the environment for its use and benefits. The exchange of energy occurs in a cyclic nature. The final and improved product serves as a new source of energy passing from the environment to the system. In this way, the deteriorating entropy process is stopped. The third and last pattern is the balance pattern. The school and the parents set the degree of closeness or distance between them in order to achieve their educational and social goals to the optimal extent. When the distance is large, the school has to bridge the gap and reach out to the community. When the distance is small, the school has to close its gates somewhat. That's it for this lesson. Thank you for listening.
Good day, everyone. Today we will discuss school as a learning community. But first, what is a learning community? According to Lenning and Ebers 1999, learning community sets ambience for life and uplifting experiences necessary to advance an individual and a whole society. Basically, learning community alludes to a group of diverse people which all individuals share typical interests and acquire ideas that helps them build a collaborative knowledge and activities for developing and maintaining the community. Learning community connects both individual human activity of learning and the interdependence of the members of the organization. Hence, it centers on providing experiences to every individual. Why school is considered as a learning community? Schools are actually considered as a learning community since they bring group of diverse individuals along with a common objective, which is learning. School mirrors the intrinsic attributes of a learning community that people come together to work towards a common goal. Essential elements for learning community. First, a servant leader who performs as a guide and nurture. On its broader sense, a servant leader serves first his member to achieve a vision. The members of the community will most likely to feel that their voices are being heard and they are valued. In a school setting, it will make the learning more effective and productive since the members are being empowered. Servant leader seeks to achieve a vision by providing strong support to its community members. In return, the members will grow and develop their own expertise. Second, a shared moral purpose. This moral purpose becomes the core force that binds the individual together. In school, the educational pioneer's role is to translate the essence of the moral purpose in a manner that it is understood by all members of the learning community. Third, a sense of trust and respect among all members. Establishing a sense of trust and respect is essential since we are dealing with diverse people in a learning community. The members must develop mutual understanding and should build a strong rapport towards their colleague so they can comfortably express themselves and to form a positive environment for learning. Fourth, an open environment for collaborative decision making. Learning community environments should be convenient for students so they can comfortably share ideas and establish a good communication to create the best decision or solution to a problem. Educational facilities must be a safe place for learners to express themselves and make good relationships with the members of their learning community. The school must be learner friendly and sensitive to avoid discriminations among diversities. Communities of practice. A community of practice, as defined by Wenger and Trainer 2015, as a group of learners who are in the process of learning about the same thing. This may or may not be a planned grouping. It may be spontaneously formed group around a shared interest or passion. There are three characteristics within a community of practice. Domain, which is the topic or subject of interest that is shared by the group. Community is comprised of the shared activities, discussions, and interactions the members have around the domain. And practice, the shared repertoire, the tools, strategies, ideas, and results of the shared interactions of the community. Community of practice performed is formed by a group endeavoring to learn the same thing by working together, sharing, researching, and discussing. They, cons- they are constructing knowledge for themselves. This could take many forms within a classroom. Teacher could assign a student specific topic. Student may choose an area of their interest, or the communities could develop naturally around the areas in which there is curiosity and interest. Community of practice can be an entire classroom that working together towards shared learning goal. The difference between a community of practice and a classroom is that it is not only the teacher can hand out information, but also the student can participate in creating their own idea of topic. Disadvantage in school context is that a teacher might not provide enough guidance and students might not learn everything that they need. School Learning Action Cells, or the SLAC, and professional learning communities. In the DepEd, a Learning Action Cell is a group of teachers who engage in collaborative learning sessions to solve shared challenges encountered in school facilitated by the school head or designated LAC leader. LACs will become the school-based communities of practice that are positive, caring, and safe spaces. DepEd Learning Action Cell, DepEd Order Number 35 Series of 2016, is known as the Learning Action Cell as a K-12 basic education program, school-based continuing professional development strategy for the improvement of teaching and learning. It is stated that Learning Action Cell is a session conducted by a group of teachers who engage in a collaborative learning session to solve shared challenges encountered in school. DepEd envisions that these LAC sessions will serve as a school-based continuing professional development strategy for the improvement of teaching and learning. DepEd fully supports the continuing professional development of its teaching personnel based on the principle of lifelong learning. DepEd is also committed to the development of teachers' potential, aimed towards their success in the profession. They institutionalize learning action cells that aims to develop and support successful teachers by nurturing their knowledge, attitudes, and competencies in terms of curriculum, instruction, and assessment in their workstations. Professional learning communities. It is a collaborative effort of a team of educators to improve learning through action-based research. The core principles of PLC are the idea that professional development among teachers will lead to greater success for their students. The biggest factor for students' success is and always will be the classroom teacher. Since the classroom teacher is so important, schools must find ways to further develop these teachers and increase their effectiveness. There are two broad purposes of PLC. One, improving the skill and knowledge of educators through collaborative study, expertise, exchange, and professional dialogue. The second is improving the educational aspiration, achievement, and attainment of students through stronger leadership and teaching. That's all.